Family, good morning. It is Kyle Henderson, Bama football on YouTube. It is Monday. It is December 22nd. I appreciate y'all being here on the show. Let me know you're watching from inside the comment box. I'm going to say good morning to you in a minute. On the show, we got another banger as we have more college football to discuss. Isn't it wild to think that there's all these other programs that feel that they have arrived? Right? That they feel that this was their year, that they felt that at this point in time, they would be standing, with a chance to maybe play in the granddaddy of them all with hopes and dreams, right? And again, those teams, they kind of pan out, right? The teams that had like the preseason hype, the teams that were like expected to be there, the teams that were like looked at as like, this is our year because of NIL and all this other stuff, a new coach. But, like, once again, we have Alabama football at the doorsteps of the Rose Bowl, right? And, by the way, if you haven't been to the Rose Bowl or if you're going, I really hope that it's your first time to be able to go out there. Do we have any first-time members going out to the granddaddy of them all in Pasadena? Pasadena, where you at? All right, because I tell you what, I was able to go there, a couple years ago when they played Michigan. And I thought it was a really wonderful experience. And if you're able to go out there, definitely check out the parade and definitely check out just the entire pageantry that exists with the Rose Bowl. So here we stand, right, at the doorstep of the Rose Bowl. And I love it. It's iconic. It's perfect for Alabama football. I think as I'm going to discuss here in the morning portion about the privilege and the opportunity to be able to get to play in the Rose Bowl, right? It's like, where else would you want to be to start out the new year with more college football? I'd love to see it. So Alabama, as you know, they advance after beating Oklahoma 34-24. And as we've had time to kind of sit down and to finally sleep, what time did everyone go to sleep on Friday night? It took me forever to go to bed. I couldn't go to bed. I after I do those watch-alongs, and we put a lot into it, clearly, right? All of us. I'm talking as fans. And it's really emotional. And then to just turn the TV off and then just go to bed? No, you couldn't. I sat up thinking about all the possibilities. I thought about, what this means for Alabama a million different ways. What am I going to discuss, on the program? Yeah, I know. It took me forever to go to sleep as well. I was tossing and turning. It was wild, but I was also coming to the realization that where we're at, like we're in the Elite Eight. I know it's called the quarterfinals, but we're in the Elite Eight. The last 8 programs still standing in college football. And to be honest, I like where we're at. And I'm not talking like even past the quarterfinals. I just like where we're at right now at this very day, right? Because there's a lot of other programs that couldn't make it this far, that wish they could be here, that are playing in some other bowl game that is, let's face it, meaningless when we're standing at the doorsteps of the Rose Bowl. So just like the realization, and just step back for a minute, be like, we're one of the last 8 teams, 8, still standing, right? The brand integrity continues to rise. And Coach Kalen DeBoer, we're going to talk about him. Man, he's doing a great job. To be able to get your team into the Elite Eight in the second year coaching, that's why people want him, right? And what it means, right? What it means to make the granddaddy of them all. I love that. I love that title. And that's always been synonymous. That's the official name of the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all. And to be able to play in a game like this, I think in terms of like continued brand awareness under Coach Kalen DeBoer, it's perfect. Going out to the Rose Bowl, because and as I said on Wake Up Bama, think about all those Cali cats that are getting to go back home and to play in front of their family and friends. It's another opportunity to showcase the West Coast, right? Here we are once again. I think that Alabama versus Indiana is literally ratings gold. ESPN and the ESPN and all the networks that broadcast these games, they are in heaven having Alabama as the underdog, right? This is like the perfect setup. I love it. I think it's even good for my personal ratings because haven't really felt, and we haven't really been accustomed to Alabama being an underdog. Let's face it. Alabama, look, if I would have told you like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, hey, guess what? In the future, Alabama's going to be an underdog to Indiana. Wouldn't that have been crazy? That would have been like really crazy for me to say, but here we are. Alabama is the true underdog. The back is against the wall. Nobody believes that Alabama can get to where they want to go. Isn't it weird with Alabama being the underdog? I got to admit it. I like it. Going against the number 1 seed, all eyes are on clearly Indiana. Because look, the nation wants to know, Alabama's still the measuring stick. They want to know, is this Indiana team, are they for real? And there's a lot of people that want to see Indiana take down Bama. Oh, my God. All those ratings, half of the ratings they want to see Alabama fall. That's why they were celebrating when Nick Saban left, because they're like, finally, these guys are done. And they want to see if Indiana can take them down. Meanwhile, you have Alabama, you have another group that is still questioning the validity of Alabama. They're like, well, Alabama, they got, Nick Saban got them in the playoffs. They don't deserve to be there. All that sort of stuff. Just keep winning. But Alabama against the number 1 is literally ratings gold. It's perfect. This is a Christmas for Indiana. Got their Christmas wish, right? They wanted Bama. Well, they got Bama. Okay. We got our Christmas wish from more college football. Going out to Cali. Love to see it. So everybody's happy. It's going to be a treat for everybody. Take that how you want. I think the brand exposure in this particular game is monumental. Do you agree with me? Inside the comment box. Like, look, the Orange Bowl's huge. The Sugar Bowl's huge. I love going to the Sugar Bowl, honestly. New Orleans, man, going to New Orleans for a bowl game, I love it. You know how I feel about New Orleans. Where my Big Easy family at? New Orleans, I love everything about it. I don't care. I love the music. I love the nightlife. I love the food. I love the mentality of the people. I love how they're resilient people. I love New Orleans. I love it. But I think in terms of like, the big dog is the Rose Bowl. And here we go for Alabama again. I think it's a great opportunity for more brand exposure for Alabama football and for Coach Kalen DeBoer, right? And this is a huge opportunity for Coach Kalen DeBoer to really further his DNA within the program, because you're remembered for what you did against Auburn. You're remembered for what you did against your rivals, right? And you're remembered for what you do in the postseason. That game against Oklahoma is going to be remembered for forever. Remember that time that Alabama was down 17? And now people for the rest of their lives are going to be like, hey, if Alabama can come back from 17, so can we. That was what they did Friday night was crazy. 17 down on the road? Yeah, I see people have different opinions about New Orleans. Yeah, I get it. You do you. New Orleans is, I'm telling you, you got to be ready for it. Yeah. But the best places are clearly off Bourbon. Like, as you start to get a little older, you understand that there's more than just Bourbon Street. You might, pill off there for a minute, but I hope you don't, make that your entire stay. That's, as you get a little bit older, you start to understand that there's different spots to hit. I'll tell you what, one of the best places in New Orleans, I promise you. It's a outdoor sculpture garden. Have you been to this? It's amazing. It's outside. It's beautiful. But my favorite place in all of New Orleans, is the World War II Museum. The World War II Museum is the best museum I've ever been to. And I used to live in Washington, D.C., so I love museums. My other favorite city is Boston, right? So New Orleans, that World War II museum is incredible. But back to the opportunity for Coach DeBoer to put kind of his DNA further in the program. If he's able to win this next game against Indiana, oh my goodness, he takes a big step forward. And plus, it like all those kind of people who are a little bit skeptical about Kalen DeBoer, they're kind of like on the fence, right? Do we like him? Do we not? They're gonna be on this side and be like, we're with him. Let's roll. And like I said, it's an absolute privilege to play in this game. No matter where you're at, it's a privilege. And for Alabama to be able to play the number 1 seed, the best team in all of college football, right? Indiana, supposedly, this is the best team. 13-0 is hard to do. This is the best team. It's a privilege. It's not a penalty. Alabama is not penalized. They earned this right. They earned this spot to be able to play against the best team in college football as the underdog. You know what I'm saying? So love to see it, and that's kind of like what it means as we get going on our Rose Bowl coverage. I can't wait. I'm so excited for the opportunity to talk about Alabama playing in the Rose Bowl. Just absolute treat for everybody, and the coverage is going to be slamming, of course. All right, the history of the Rose Bowl. And I put this out on Facebook, and someone who made me laugh so hard because I posted on Facebook. I was like, what do you remember like about, these games? And someone was like, yeah, it's pretty hard to remember anything from 1931 to I guess from 1938 on. And I was like, true. Right. It's 100 years that they last played or that they first played in the Rose Bowl. Isn't that crazy? 1926 when they beat Washington 20-19. Isn't that crazy? How life is wild like that. You're telling me 100 years ago that they beat Washington. Didn't they have to take a train out there or something like that? See, Max Tooney was at that 1931 game. Oh, man. Oh, I love this. Wade's World, party time. What's up, man? He's got a $1 spot, and he's like, I'm not giving up on Ryan Williams. Love to say. I think we missed another super chat. And Brady, I think you had something to say. Go ahead and say it, man. Shoot your shot inside the comment box. Thank you so much. And Lag Gaming says, imagine the fallout that happens if Alabama walks in and has their way with Indiana. Look, it could certainly happen. I mean, if this team is going to get even more healthy, Indiana, yeah, I think, and I'll talk about this more. It was certainly impressive for them beating Ohio State. But when you poke open the hood, their strength of schedule is, they ain't play a lot of people, okay? But most recently in the Rose Bowl, they lost to Michigan. Who was at that game? I was at that game. That was the game that I went to. And that was a tough one. That was a tough one. That was Coach Saban's last game, right, as the head football coach here. Michigan, that team was good. I felt like Alabama could have won that game. I felt like that game could have went either way. There was a couple breaks that didn't go Alabama's way. And if you think about it, the last 2 seasons have ended by losing to a team from the Big Ten, which is the same team in Michigan. So you don't want that to happen again, right? You don't want your last 3 seasons to end from the Big Ten because they'll never stop talking. And then before that, in 2021, they beat Notre Dame. But that game was the Rose Bowl, but it was moved to Texas because of COVID. Remember this? That was weird. And they beat Notre Dame by a score of 31-14. And then in 2010, right, this game was the national championship game. And Alabama beat Texas 37-21 in the national title. So those are kind of the most recent. Then we have to go almost all the way back to World War II for some of those other games, right? Holy cow. That's a long time from 1946 to 2010. You know what I'm saying? Jeez. This 2010 title team, they had 2 running backs that ran for 100 yards, and each of them scored 2 touchdowns. I'm not trying to start a war here. All I'm just saying is, at that point in time, they ran the ball. And they had some pretty good running backs to do it, too. So let's see who's up in the crib today. I appreciate it. I put on, a little bit of Christmas cheer, right? I felt like last week, and I was kind of looking at the show. I was like, yo, like Christmas is just around the corner. We need to add some candy canes and some presents and some Christmas trees and a Santa hat or whatever we have here. So just to kind of make it a little festive. I love Christmas. I love the holiday season. I'm sure you do too. I mean, who doesn't? It's a little bit stressful. I'm not going to lie. Bama Man, what's up, man? Appreciate you being here. Capstone Farms, good morning to you. Jeffrey, what's up, man? The Honda Syndicate, good morning. Bama Man 256, good morning to you. Capstone Farms, what's up? We have Anna out in Atlanta, good morning. Thank you so much. Andy G, what's up, bro? Coming to us from Denver, Colorado, if I remember correctly. Bruce Williams, what's up, bro? Max Tooney, always checking in. Strong fan. We got Bruce Williams coming to us from Fort Wayne, Indiana. What's the temperature up in Fort Wayne today? We have Bot Ricks. Wet Tumpka. I need to, so I'm trying to get my pronunciation right on this because someone inside the comment box said that I wasn't pronouncing it right. So I want to get it straight. Wet Umpka? I'm saying Wet Tumpka. Is that right? All right, I'll work on it. I promise you. We have Huntsville. What's up, Hunts Vegas? I love Huntsville. You know how I feel about Huntsville. Amanda Jane down in L.A., right? Rex Green, what's going on? Robert Bradley Jr., good to see you, man. King Lewis, what's up, bro? Good to see you as well. Patriot Life coming to us from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Love to see it. Messiah, what's up, bro? 3 different quarterbacks, 3 different natties. What's up, man? I love stats, bro. Vicky, good to see you. Good morning to you. Coming to us from Tennessee. We have a lot of fans from Tennessee. I'm not going to lie. And, they're having an amazing time rubbing it into the balls, right? Because there's nobody that talks more than Tennessee fans or Georgia fans. I mean, that's just something that we've learned. Jarvis, what's up, bro? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. 3504, what's up, bro? Says naysayers hiders inside the chat. Broderick, good morning to you, man. Big homie, good to see you. Dirt Bike, my boy. Dirt Bike, yo, Dirt Bikes, you've been here, dog. I appreciate it. I just want you to know that I see you inside the comment box, man. Rex Green, do I know where you're coming from? No, man. What Repper City? You tell me one time and I'll remember it. I got the photographic memory, so just let me know. All right, 2025 coming to us from Georgia. Jeff Stapleton, what's up, bro? Jeff Stapleton points out that Oregon gave up 500 yards to James Madison and didn't cover the spread. Yeah, I had in Wake Up Bama that the losers were the group of 5, right? Those games were boring. Let's just call it what it was. Ole Miss versus Tulane. Did anybody really watch that entire game? Credit to you. Did anybody really? I think more people seem to watch the Oregon James Madison game just because James Madison started scoring some at the back end. But Oregon could have done it. I don't even think Oregon's, I think they might be number 8 on the teams that are left in there. And I don't think that they could have scored whatever they wanted to against James Madison. All right. We got Moody coming to us from Indianapolis, Indiana. That's what's up. Centerville, Camden, what's up? Good to see you. Miss Nicole Covington, Crystal Jones, good morning to you. Appreciate it. Rex Green says, no, I went to the NFL. Oh, man. All right. I know, Jeff, they scored 34 points, but it was kind of like in the second half. I felt like they kind of eased up. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Let me ask the comment box. Do y'all feel that, like, James Madison proved that they should be in the tournament? I don't. I'm sorry if that makes you mad. I don't feel that they're a playoff team. I think they, scored a good amount of points or whatever against Oregon. I'm not sold on them. Wade's World, you've been following for about 4 years now? Oh, bro, yeah, that's what's up, man. Yeah. We've been doing this, I think, 10 years, which is crazy. And we went on through some hella metamorphosis on the channel. Oh, my God. Holy cow. But that's good, Metamorphoses are great. They're good. You got to change, and you got to be able to adapt and fight through being canceled. Holy cow, man. It's been crazy. All right, Kyle, major question. Can you break down the teams we played, Georgia versus Indiana's strengths and weaknesses that we faced, and what's the difference of the two teams? Like, basically showing, are you asking, like, what's the difference between Georgia and Indiana? Yeah, we'll break it down a million type of ways, I promise you. I have a couple graphics that I've already built that showcase a couple different things. But yeah, if you guys have ideas or you want me to look at things a couple different angles, just let me know inside the comment box. And honestly, just know that I do go through the comments. I read literally all the comments. Like I just sit there and like I go through them. If you want to become a fan funder of Bama football on YouTube, which I really appreciate, hit the join button. It should be on your phone. Just look. There's subscribe. There's join. There's different levels, and I really appreciate your consideration in doing that. All right, thank you so much. So I was thinking about this. I was like, you know what? Let's just get back to like the basics real quick, and let's look at how we got here, because I'm still like really impressed by the season that Alabama has put together. And I don't know, we were talking about it yesterday on the show. Like, is this one of Alabama's best teams talent-wise? I don't think so. But this is a good football team. I mean, the defense is great. The defense has been playing fantastic, and you know how the offense has been. I liked how the offense played, there starting in the third quarter throughout in this last game. But I don't think it's like the best team. But they're battling, and I think they played a tremendously hard schedule. My goodness. Against teams that continue to get better and better and better. Let's face it. All the teams are just getting better. So you started off, and somebody inside the comment box, it was actually an Indiana fan. They came back, and they were like, well, if Alabama's so good, then how come they lost 3 games? This isn't a good team. They've lost 3 games. And I was like, I'll tell you how they lost 3 games. The first game of the season, they got their teeth kicked in. Okay? They weren't prepared. They got out-coached. They got outplayed. They lost. Straight up. They just got knocked out. I mean, Gus Malzahn said he'd wake up every single day at 4 a.m. and he would just pick apart Alabama's defense. And he did. And they were healthy at that time. That at that point in time, that day, Florida State could have probably beat a majority of the teams, if not all of the teams out there. They were that good that day. They were that well prepared. They had that much motivation. That was a good Florida State team. And it's hard to like compare where teams are at during the season because they can go up, they can go down. Florida State completely had a crash out. But that's how they lost that first game. And then they rebounded against Louisiana Monroe, winning 73-0. Remember, that was that game where Ty Simpson, what was he like, 17-17 or something crazy like that? I'd never seen that before. But it was against Louisiana Monroe, and we got a little taste of A.K. Deer. He ran for 76 yards and, got back a little bit of mojo. And then took care of Wisconsin, light work, 38-14. Ty Simpson with 4 touchdowns, 382 yards, and had a tremendous performance. And at this point in time, this is probably the best Alabama was playing in terms of like being in a rhythm, right? Do you remember this? Kind of going back to the season. So then Alabama had its first major test, which was against Georgia on the road. A team where, once again, they were the underdog. Remember? What was it, like 4.5, Georgia? So Alabama goes in that game against Georgia. And, kind of recapping, they weren't supposed to win this game. But they came out and defeated Georgia after Georgia had won 33 consecutive games at home. I still look back on that win. And right there, Alabama really played, I felt, its best football of the season. You go into that Vanderbilt game, and Vanderbilt they were undefeated. This is a very good football team as well. Vanderbilt had opportunities, but the defense made a stop, just like they did against Georgia. And then against Missouri, same thing, right? Tennessee, able to take care of Tennessee off a big pick 6 right before halftime. You go to South Carolina, you're able to rally in the fourth quarter, right? LSU took care of the Tigers, took on Oklahoma, and lost a tough one. And I think that we can all say in that second loss that Alabama had, Alabama beat Alabama. That was self-inflicted wounds, right? Florida State beat Alabama 100 times over. Like, that was a loss. Alabama beat Alabama in that second loss. A million %. It was turnovers, okay? Beat up on Eastern Illinois. We saw the 2 quarterbacks come in. They look good. Austin Mack, Keelan Russell got a little taste of them. They look like they're, ready when their time is called. And then you took on Auburn in a must-win game. And Ty Simpson comes through with it. And 3 touchdown passes, right, in that game as Alabama is able to beat Auburn in a thriller 27-20. And at this point in time, they're banged up. I mean, this was – how did they lose to Georgia? Well, they got out-coached, they got outplayed, and they were banged up. Took a loss to a really good Georgia football team where I think Georgia at that point in the season is playing their best football, right? So Alabama's able to get it together, get a little bit healthy. They were the underdog against Oklahoma. It was really a coin flip game. It was a pick 'em, but going on the road, I think made them an underdog, right? They were the 9 seed. Oklahoma's the 8 seed. They were the underdog. They're able to win 34-24 after coming back 17 down. I just wanted to kind of recap the season because it has been one hell of a season against really good competition. And let me ask you this, and I know this is going to be hard to answer. And I'm not taking anything away from Coach Saban's teams or any teams from the past. But would you agree with this? Don't you feel like there's much more parity in college football right now? Like it's harder to win games right now. And I'm not talking in any other, maybe in other conferences, but specifically for the SEC. I think going, 7-1 in regular season play against SEC competition, it has tremendous value, right? I think being able to win 11 games against this type of schedule has tremendous value. Winning on the road in the playoffs against a SEC team has tremendous value. You see what I'm saying? It's hard to win games like Alabama has done this year. This has been probably, I would say, one of Alabama's toughest schedules that they've had in quite some time. And again, I'm not taking anything away from any other teams. I just think, and it's interesting because I don't think that this is one of Alabama's best teams either. Right? I think these okay, 2020 Alabama, yeah, they win pretty much all of these games, but they're still challenging games for them. Alabama, like this year, Alabama's team versus 2020 Alabama team, there's no comparison. That's what makes it even better, that they're able to win these games still, right? 11-3 at this point in time, super, super impressive. And Michael, thank you very much for becoming a fan funder. Really appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it tremendously. Here's a look at where we stand right now. North Alabama Storm Chase cooked up these graphics. So we got the quarterfinals, Oregon taking on Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl, Bama and Indiana in the Rose, Ole Miss and Georgia, a rematch earlier this season. Wow, combined teams right there. Man, look at all these records. Jeez. A lot of W's. Ole Miss and Georgia, that's going to be a hell of a game. But I give the edge to Georgia. I think that this team is just playing fantastic football right now. This is a good team. And then Ohio State, I think they'll have their way with Miami. But who knows? I foresee Georgia and Ohio State down there meeting up. I'll come back and I'll talk about the playoffs in a minute. Kind of going back to Alabama and Indiana head-to-head. I've showed this graphic a couple different times early on as we start our previews, and I'll continue to reference it because it's just a head-to-head version of these two teams. Alabama has a better pass offense, and that might surprise you because Fernando Mendoza, right, won the Heisman Trophy, and Ty Simpson was nowhere remotely close to the Heisman Trophy ballots after, he had his back-end struggles. William Note inside the comment box is saying, playoffs. That's still the funniest soundbite in the history. That and we're talking about practice. Iverson, right? Indiana's ranked 43rd in pass offense. They can run the ball. A lot of people don't know about their running game, but they clearly can run the football. In total offense, they're number 8. Kurt Cignetti has himself a team. And I'm going to show you their schedule here in just a minute because that's where I'm going to poke them at. I'm going to poke Indiana at their schedule. And I watched this team, and there for a while, I was kind of in a group of people. Were you here at one point? I was at one point in time, I was like completely questioning Indiana. I was like, this isn't a good team, this and that. They're playing nobody. And then I watched them play a couple times, and I was like, okay. This is a good team. This is a good football team. They got good components. Their defense was way better than I thought they were. Same thing, it took me a while to like Texas Tech. Those are the two teams that kind of took me a while. But after I watched Texas Tech's defense, I was sold on them. But this Indiana team they're very balanced. You can see they're number 8 in total offense, where Alabama's number 74. Okay? And Byron's pointing out their weak schedule. That's where I'm going to go with it in here in a second. Their run defense is 4. Their total defense is 6. Right? And they got an unblemished record of 13-0. I think what gave them a lot of validity, clearly, was them beating Ohio State. Once they beat Ohio State, those people that might have been on the fence were like, okay, that's a good football team. They got a stamp by beating Ohio State. If Ohio State doesn't miss that field goal, right? That game goes into overtime or however it works. Good team, though. But I have to go here, fam. All right? And for Indiana fans that might come back and watch us on the rewatch, I love you. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. If you have a question for me, I'll definitely address it. Even when we have our call-in shows, you're welcome to call in and give us your opinion on Indiana football. I'd really appreciate that. But this is where I'm going to go with it. And I think most Alabama football fans would bring this up. And this is where Alabama football fans are going to be like, okay, look, we understand that you're a good football team, but we got to ask you some questions about your schedule, okay? Because when we look at your football schedule, our eyebrows raise. Because Alabama has played one hell of a schedule. They're 5-2 against top 25 teams. The amount of top 35 teams are like pretty much all of them outside of Louisiana Monroe and Eastern Illinois, right? So look at this schedule. We'll run through it. You let me know on a scale of 1 to 10. Let me read it through real quick. But on a scale of 10, how difficult would you say this schedule is? With 10 being the most challenging, okay? Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, who, by the way, our beloved basketball team beat yesterday. How about Indiana State? Oof, man, that was a hell of a 3-game stretch to start the season, right? Man, Mendoza balling out in those games. Well, of course. How about Illinois, the powerhouse Illinois? Oh, my God. This is, you know what really makes me mad? It doesn't make me mad about their first 3 games. But what makes me mad is that Illinois was ranked number 9. The AP is ridiculous for having Illinois ranked 9. I watched Illinois like early on in the season. I think I watched them play Duke or somebody like that. I was like, are you kidding me? This team's 9? I was like, this team, no. So when Indiana beat them 63-10, they were, a lot of people were like, oh, Indiana, because remember, Indiana just popped right into the like top 8 or whatever after they beat Illinois like that. Well, Illinois wasn't supposed to be there in the beginning. Okay, they beat Iowa by 5. Iowa, come on. Then they played Michigan State, and then after that they played UCLA. Are you kidding me? They had a 3-game stretch. They went Michigan State, UCLA, Maryland. They had a 3-game stretch where they went Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana. Now, they have that win on the road against Oregon, right? Which, again, people liked. That was a good win. I liked that win, too. I probably picked Oregon if I had to go back at, my old predictions. But look at these schedules where you could really stay healthy. Most importantly, Penn State, okay, they went to Penn State and won that game. I think, going to Oregon, going to Penn State, those are difficult places, difficult environments to win. Penn State is not who we thought they were, right? I never thought that Penn State was going to be good. I think all the national analysts before the season felt that Penn State was going to be good. I was like, how? James Franklin, what has he done? I knew that they were going to be like that. That was the game that Fernando Mendoza led Indiana back, and he threw that ridiculous touchdown pass. Their receivers were catching. Their receivers are so good. But I wasn't, overly impressed. Then they beat Purdue. Then they beat Wisconsin. And then they played Ohio State, and they won that game 13-10. So, I don't know. Big homie lives right next to Kennesaw State. Oh, that's what's up. What do you guys think? Mike G inside the comment box says Indiana would have 3 or 4 losses in the SEC. So what do you guys say on a strength of schedule? All right, the Terrence has 4. Max Tooney has 3. Kurt Signetti says, Byron says, Kurt Signetti is almost 64. He said something he's retiring within the next 5 years. But doesn't his contract go for like 10 years? Ezra says 5. John Martinez says 4. It's not a challenging schedule, right? And look, they do have quality wins, right? I mean, I'll give them Oregon. I'll give them Penn State, even though Penn State had a crash out. And I'll give them, of course, Ohio State. But overall, I think that's kind of where I'm going to poke. And I don't think that's a weak argument. It's just like we understand you want some critical games, specifically on the road. You beat Ohio State, which is great. Ohio State's a great team. Ohio State hasn't played the most challenging schedule. But they're a good football team. And this Indiana football team is a good team. They haven't played a very challenging schedule. All right? They just haven't. Then I started thinking about this. All right? I love stats. I think about stats all the time. It's a problem. I've been like this since I was a little kid. I used to, when I was little, like 6, 7, 8, I would literally carry around a notebook with me. True story. A notebook, and I draw out like Excel data points, and I would put like wins and losses of like high school football teams. I've been doing this literally for like 42 years. So I started thinking I was like, man, and I couldn't fit all the quarterbacks in here. But I started thinking about the quarterbacks that Alabama has gone against already, because they're going against Fernando Mendoza. And Fernando Mendoza going against most teams, you're like, oh my goodness, this quarterback, we never faced a quarterback like this and blah, 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 all this stuff. Then I was thinking about it. I was like, damn, think about all the quarterbacks that Alabama's faced. Right? And these are just a few. I think I missed a couple on here. But some of them were repeats anyways. But you'll see what I'm saying. Okay, and the type of quarterback that you face throughout, they're all different style of quarterbacks. So you've seen them all. Really good quarterbacks too, right? In their perspective offensive systems. Like when Tommy Castellanos was at his best in week 1, super dangerous. And Alabama got a heavy taste of him. In that game, he ran for a bunch. He threw for 152. And what I'm kind of getting at with this is Alabama's secondary is ranked number 10 right now in the entire country. Wetumpka. All right, cool. Thank you. It's Wetumpka. All right, cool. If you missed the beginning of the show, I'm trying to learn how to say Wetumpka. I like that name. Wetumpka. That's tough. Wetumpka. Okay, so they went up against Tommy Castellanos. He did his thing. All right. Then he went against Gunnar Stockton. Okay. At that point in time, Gunnar wasn't the best, but he certainly grew up by the back end of the season. You faced him twice, right? That's an Elite 8 quarterback. You took on Diego Pavia. Diego Pavia finished second in the Heisman. Tough to deal with. 100%. He threw for 198. Bo Perbula, guy from Missouri, right? He's pretty good. By the way, did you see he went to the transfer portal? Man, there's so many guys that went into the transfer portal. So did Ashton Daniels here at the back end. Joey Aguilar, he was pretty good. Threw that critical interception right before halftime. Man, that was terrible. So did Pavia. Pavia threw a big interception too. He went against Garrett Nussmeier. He's pretty good. John Mateer twice. You see what I'm saying? I said this on Wake Up Bama. I don't think that there's a defense out there that has won against better quarterbacks. Would you, right? Look at all these quarterbacks they faced. In Alabama, and the crazy thing to me is Alabama's secondary is still ranked 10 in the country. pretty impressive. And, hats off to Jason Jones and Mo Linquist, the secondary coaches. And then also think about Alabama in the secondary. Dejon Lee, Xavier Brown, Damani Jackson, Bray Hubbard, Keon Sabb, Red Morgan, right? Deshaun Jones. A lot of those guys are coming back next year. Actually, they pretty much all should besides Damani Jackson. Scary to think about. Alabama will definitely, if those guys do come back, they will have the best secondary in the country, period. Here are some storylines that we'll be following all this week. So this week, I get it. It's Christmas. It's family time. But, kind of the news goes on. So things that we're tracking. Okay. So the health status of the team. I think against Oklahoma, Alabama pretty much, avoided marquee injuries, right? I think Tim Keenan went down for a second and maybe Red Morgan, but I think each of those guys are good to go. I mean, we haven't heard any of the team reporters report that those guys are injured. So I think we're pretty good from a health standpoint. In my opinion, Jam didn't look 100%. So he'll have time to get better. Josh Cuevas, I thought he looked fine, right? He looked great. It was nice to have him back, for sure. Clearly, we will be watching the health status of LT Overton. And I don't know. I've heard all the rumors. This is something that's kind of been not difficult to track. It's just there hasn't been a lot of information other than LT Overton has been out with an illness. And like I know, I've seen all the rumors too, but you just follow Coach Caitlin DeBoer's lead here. And hopefully it's nothing serious for the kid. Hopefully it's nothing else. I don't know. But I'm curious as well. The good news is that the guys behind him, if he can't go or however long it needs him to get going, the guys behind him have been playing well. Specifically, Keon Keeley. Yo, what have you thought about Keon Keeley and Jordan Renaud? I've seen more of Keon Keeley. He just jumps out to me. Super athletic. He almost had an interception against Oklahoma when he sat back in zone, right? Keon Keeley, I think, will be better than LT Overton next year. I do. And that's a big statement. But I think Keon Keeley has the athleticism. I think he has the size. I think they put him at the right position at the right time, and he's just a guy that is ready to go. He's a bad man. Number 31's a bad man. If you bought stock early in Keon Keeley, good for you. If you believed in him, good for you. I did. I just knew it. It just took him a little bit of time to get there. But think about this. How nice was it to see back-to-back sacks by Keon Keeley and Yanzi Pierre, right? Because we've been waiting for those guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think each of those guys came into the same class as 5 stars. And sometimes, as Alabama football fans, you want those guys to get on the field sooner than later. You're like, come on, there's a 5-star. Play them. Why aren't they playing? Is something wrong with them? Like, what's going on? It takes time, man. What are you going to do? Put him over LT Overton last year? This year? What are you going to do? Put Yanzi Pierre over Quay Rusa? Like, it takes time. But when Quay went down, Yanzi had an opportunity. It made the most of it. When LT went down, Keeley's making the most of it. And I think those are your future starters. So let me just paint this picture real quick. You got Keon Keeley coming back, Yanzi Pierre coming back, that entire secondary. You figured out who can step up for the big man, right? Maybe a Jeremiah Beeman, James Smith. You get some inside linebackers. And I've been thinking maybe moving Quay to inside backer, just thinking about it because you need a veteran. That defense is going to be ferocious next year. I think the defense will be better actually next year than it is this year. The only area of concern for me for next year's defense is the inside linebackers because you just don't have a lot of experience there. You lose 3 guys that all have their master's degree. Think about that. I mean, there's no way you're just going to be able to replace Deontay Lawson and Nakai Hill-Green and Justin Jefferson. That's one hell of a trio, right? Nick Sheridan to Michigan State, tracking that. Now he's going to coach with Alabama in the quarterback room through the Rose Bowl. Good news, yes. They kept Jamarcus Shepard on for a little bit as well with the wide receiver room. My thoughts on that, I like it, and I know there's a lot of people that don't know, that don't like Nick Sheridan. I think people are like, get him out of here, whatever. Look, the players like him. The players really have an appreciation for Nick Sheridan. He's in the quarterback. You know how much time they spend with these coaches? I'm serious. They're with these guys all the time. It never stops, right? Every single day, Keelan Russell, Austin Mack, Ty Simpson are with Nick Sheridan every day. So that builds a camaraderie within that room. And just because you don't like them, those quarterbacks do. And you take somebody from that room, just like you take Jamarcus Shepard from that room, you take the energy from that room. Like even Kalen DeBoer was like, hey, I was coaching the wide receivers a little bit today, right? So now Kalen DeBoer, he has to go coach up the wide receivers a little bit, right? And same thing with Nick Sheridan in that quarterback room. And so now you need another offensive coach. Does that mean that they bring in a quarterback coach? Does that mean that Ryan Grubb specifically coaches the quarterbacks? I don't know, right? And I don't know how I feel about coaches that are still here and taking other jobs. I feel that you got to make the break. It's better for everybody. Hey, man, congratulations. Because you can't serve two masters. What are you going to be, Jamarcus Shepard coaching with Alabama all day long and then coaching Oregon State? I think that Jamarcus Shepard isn't coaching with Alabama anymore. I think he coached through the SEC championship game, but I think he's done. I think that Nick Sheridan is coaching through the Rose Bowl and then he's done. Right? But you can't serve two masters. There's only so much time in the day. Right? Transfer portal movement, we'll be watching it. There's a ton of guys that have been jumping in the transfer portal. Has there been anybody in the transfer portal that has jumped out to you right now that has kind of made your ears perk up from like opposing teams that you would like? Do you have like a transfer portal hot board? Might be something fun that we can build out together. Just some guys. I mean, is there any offensive tackles? Are we still interested in a kicker? Is there any inside linebackers? Is there anybody else? Is there a wide receiver? I know a lot of people are already feeling that Cam Coleman is coming here or Malcolm Simmons. Well, until those guys physically get into the portal, they're still on Auburn's team. And how much do those guys cost, and how much are we paying to retain our players? So I don't know. And we're going to look at, kind of the transfer portal movement, as things come out. It is amazing to see how many quarterbacks are in the portal, isn't it? And you kind of wonder, too. I'm not just, look, let's see how it shakes out. But let me ask you this. Are there a lot of quarterbacks in the transfer portal? Yes or no? Yes. Because right now, I have heard this. The going rate for a top-end quarterback is going for $4 million to $5 million a year. A couple years ago, it was $2.5 million. Now it's $4 to $5 million for a quarterback. So, look, we have some incredible quarterbacks on the team right now. How much are we paying those guys? Is it about money? Do those guys want to go and get paid right away? I'm just saying there's a lot of guys in the transfer portal. Lag Gaming says, I had a class with Jalen Milroe. When class is over, Sheridan would pick him up in a golf cart. We walk out their building. Dude, they're always together. I'm telling you, they are super tight. Yeah, so losing Nick Sheridan, I know for the fans are like, oh, this dude's no. For the players, I'm telling you, it hurts. You ever had like a coach that you're really close to, or like a teacher or like a mentor that's really close? Imagine if that mentor comes up to you and like, hey, man, I'm leaving. It's a better opportunity for me, but I'm moving to Chicago. And you're like, oh, man, okay. Ooh, man. Well, thank you for everything, bro. Hurts. Yeah, that's how it feels. And then even for game opportunities too, like they go to Nick Sheridan. Nick Sheridan is heavily involved in Alabama, I promise you. And then this whole Coach Kalen DeBoer extension down here at the bottom. I don't know, for a while, I thought that extension was, spelled with a Tion, but obviously Sion. If you followed me for a long time, like I do all the graphics and I cut everything myself. So I'm talented in a lot of areas, not many. Being a dad, clearly one, but I still need to tighten up a lot of different areas. So if you see something out there that is like misspelled, just let me know. It's okay. I can fix it or whatever. I appreciate it. Just point it out. It's all good. And it's always funny to see like people like passively aggressive say something like, I accidentally misspelled Tulane. I just literally I missed the E. I put a D instead. And somebody was like, what's Tulane? Or, dude, just say it. Why you have to be passive aggressive about it, right? Just so the whole Kalen DeBoer extension. So I have to ask you, do you think that Coach Kalen DeBoer gets an extension? And see, there's that extension up top, just as I was talking about it. Do you think that Coach Kalen DeBoer gets an extension? Do you think that he deserves an extension? Right? Oh, man. I mean, you start to look at it, Coach Kalen DeBoer. So how about yes or no inside the comment box? Does DeBoer need an extension or kind of to restructure it? I think it is. It's coming. I'm literally waiting because I think it's going to happen at any point in time. I mean, and I think it might not happen until the final game of the season because it goes higher or whatever based off that. Case. Kyle Cortez, I know. Trying to reach Kyle Cortez status. And you start to look at it, it's like, okay, 11-3 in year 2, quarterfinals. That sounds pretty good. What about this? 12-3 with the quarterfinals and a Rose Bowl victory against number 1 Indiana. Yo, they win this next game. We're talking that's a year 2 sexy resume, right? Because you take down number 1 Indiana, I'm telling you, whew. He's been sought after by Penn State and Michigan, clearly. He's making 10.2. Just for reference sake, Cignetti just signed a new deal, 11.6, right? And I think Coach Kalen DeBoer makes an additional $250 every time he starts a new season. He's got 2 top 5 recruits. You start to look at this right here. It doesn't. Sometimes you wonder, you're like, man, why am I so down on DeBoer? It's like he's doing this in the hardest climate of college football. This is hard to do. I'm with Roll Tide. I think this is restructured to $13 million with incentives for big wins. This is probably right. And the reason we're at $13 million right here is because that's what Kiffin and Kirby are getting paid. Look, you still want to be the pinnacle of college football. You got to pay the pinnacle of, what we're paying the coaches. And DeBoer doesn't set the market. The market has already been set by those other programs. Right? He's shown improvement. He's weathered the storm. He's following the GOAT. Imagine following Coach Saban. Oh, my God. Can you imagine? In life, can you imagine having to follow out of all people on this planet, right? You have to follow Coach Saban, the best at every single thing. Who? Coach Saban. I'm like, oh, man. You know how stressed out Jay is calling after Alyssa. You know what I'm saying? And, Fromm brings up a really good point, too. He's like, what about Kane Womack? Oof, man. That's a hell of a chess piece, right? I would imagine that they probably bump up Kane, too. I don't know about Grubb. Grubb has to earn it. Right now, Grubb is kind of just, Need him to turn it up just a little bit. Dennis says, do we have any players in the portal? The only player that I think is in the portal that will enter the portal on January 2nd is Bubba Hampton, right? I think Bubba Hampton is the only player so far that has announced that he's going to in the portal. And he hasn't been on the team since like fall. And I don't know how you guys are going to feel about this, but pretty soon I'm going to have to start reporting on this, and it's going to be new territory. But how about the title, Alabama has re-signed this player? People don't like it. Texas A&M already started it. Remember they re-signed Mario Craver? So this is going to come out, I would imagine. I don't know. I'm sure they're thinking about how to word it. But over the next, 5 weeks, you're probably going to hear re-signed, I think, right? Imagine how you're going to feel when you hear this title. Like, I don't know. Lazier Brooks re-signed with Alabama. Yeah. Ryan Williams re-signed with Alabama. You'd be like, okay, yeah. How much are you paying these guys? Austin Mack, we're still trying to figure it out before spring. Keelan Russell is signed. It's going to be, we're about to go into a wild 2026 with players being re-signed and stuff. Don't you? I mean, I think since it's a public university, we should be able to see who's being paid what. All right. Early enrollees, they're rolling in this week. So you got Jet Thamala at quarterback, right? There's a couple of them, and I'll continue to update this as we go forward. These are the guys getting here literally this week. Jet Thamala, Jordan Edmonds, Josh Ford. He's a transfer from Oklahoma. Tyrell Miller, and Chris Booker. Now, the most important thing to know that these guys can practice. They can do every single thing with the team besides play in the actual playoff games, okay? But what an advantage, and I spoke a little bit about this on Wake Up Bama, but you talk about a competitive advantage for these guys coming in at this point in time and being inside that film room, understanding what it takes to have that preparation through the holiday season to be able to have that locked on focus for the Rose Bowl. You get in there with the other dogs and you understand how early you have to get to, workouts, how late you have to stay, how to manage your classwork. You imagine? And you're coming up with like a perfect time right before the Rose Bowl. So you get to see when everybody is 100% dialed in. Now, Jet Thamala, speaking about the players individually, have you all watched his highlight tapes? If not, you have some time this week to watch some film. I encourage you to watch Jet Thamala. And then right after that, this is what I want you to do. Watch Keelan Russell at high school, just Keelan Russell highlights, huddle. And then directly after that, watch Jet Thamala. I think that these two quarterbacks are very similar. They have very similar characteristics. They move around the pocket well. They both have athleticism. But where I think I see a really shining comparison is how they throw the deep ball with ease. It just kind of floats in there. I'm telling you. Super athletic dude with Jet Thamala coming in. And you'll get Taden Kahua coming in, and I think he's actually very similar to Austin Mack. You got Jordan Edmonds coming, an elite corner, right, out of Georgia. I mean, this guy's a big-time baller, 6'3", coming in. Look at Alabama's corners loaded. You lose Damani Jackson, you're adding in Jordan Edmonds. You have Chuck McDonald in development. He's there. Xavier Brown, Dejon Lee, loaded group. Josh Ford, the big tight end, comes in. I think he's more of like an inline blocker. Tyrell Miller, don't know too much about him. He's a junior college prospect out of California. And then Chris Booker, a 4-star offensive lineman from the state of Georgia as well. So those guys coming in up in the house. And they'll be in, I think some of them get in actually today. All right. As you know, the quarterfinals are set. Oregon will take on Texas Tech. Alabama take on Indiana. Ole Miss take on Georgia. And Miami will take on Ohio State. Which matchup other than, and then Edwards too is coming in, Wade's World. Yeah, 100%. Which matchup on the board are you most excited about other than Alabama and Indiana? Which matchup is the most exciting to you? I mean, clearly they're all going to be fantastic games. I think last night I might have said Oregon and Texas Tech. Am I staying with that? You imagine if Texas Tech gets into the semifinals? And then that Ole Miss and Georgia game, right? I'm looking forward to that game. You have Miami taking on Ohio State. Look, I'm excited about that game. I really am. I just think that Ohio State will probably do bad things, right? Bad things to Ohio State. Or bad things to Miami, rather. Yeah, here are the early lines. You have Oregon -1.5. Wow, Oregon's actually the favorite in that game? Interesting. Indiana, 7.5. That's wild. Georgia, 7 against Ole Miss, and then Ohio State, 10. Right? Yeah, I guess, and this is that Friday night game, is this bottom one right here, Miami and Ohio State. Fam, as you know, this video is powered by Sleeper, right? The promo code is tailgate. And if you download the app, which I really encourage you to do, you get $20 just to your account, and you can make more or less picks on NFL games, college games. It's really fun to do. Plus, you can create your fantasy football leagues through Sleeper. Sleeper is a great app. I love their interface. I use it daily. So download the app. It's just $20. You get $20 upon downloading it. And then if you get a $100 deposit match, if you put in $100. The promo code is tailgate. Please support Sleeper. They support me, and they've been a great sponsor this season. So I really appreciate you guys checking them out. Terms and conditions apply. Available in 25 states. Promo code is tailgate. All right. So, and this was our Wake Up Bama recap. Did you guys check out Wake Up Bama? Yeah. It was another banger. So definitely go. You can check out Wake Up Bama, still relevant up to this point in time. It's packed with information. Always drops at 4 a.m. every single day. So certainly check it out. I really appreciate all the support for Wake Up Bama, or these daily live shows, whatever it is. I'm supported by viewers like you, and I really appreciate it. And then also we have Coach Kalen DeBoer today at 12:15 p.m. And then you have Kurt Signetti, I think, at 12:30. So I'm going to package that information the best that I can. But heads up, I am taking my kids to the airport right around that same time. I'm leaving here at like 12:45. So it's going to kind of be a crush. So what I might do is come back, take them, make sure that they're safe, come back, and package Coach Kalen DeBoer and kind of have my heads on a swivel for anything that he might say regarding, the upcoming Rose Bowl as we get underway on Monday. So I appreciate the grace, and of course, news as it happens right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Thanks for watching this morning. Definitely drop a thumbs up. Get inside the comment box. Let me know about any feedback that you have, and I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching this morning. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama on this fine Monday, December